Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now this is your general reading for the new moon, 16th of October, 15th I think in some areas of the world. So depending on where you are, some areas of the world it will be night, some areas it will be day, and that is something that I'm going to look at this month as well. This video is going to be a bit different from normal. I'm going to do one big general reading and then some mini readings for each individual sign. There will be timestamps on the bottom by the time I finish. But in the meantime, I want to look at the degrees first because there is a lot going on with this new moon. Now, on my Facebook page, link down below in the description, the page for this channel, I will have already posted by the time this goes live the various astrology videos that I have looked at regarding this new moon. So I don't want to duplicate anything that the experts have already done. I'll just point a few salient points out. It is coming off of an opposition to Mars. Now that's, let me just find the details. That is 3.5 degrees, well, just over 3.5 degrees away from the exact opposition. It's separating, but it's still very much in power. Now, the sun and the moon are in an area of the tropical zodiac called the Via Combusta, which is a new concept for me, but it basically means that they're somewhat debilitated between 15 degrees Libra and 15 degrees Scorpio. It was interesting researching this because that is supposed to actually be between the claws of Scorpio. So certainly in sidereal terms, the fixed stars that are there will have wandered on several degrees. However, this new moon is exactly conjunct to the fixed star Spica, which brings blessings. So if you're in a cardinal sign, especially in the third decan, you know, around 23 degrees, because that's where this is occurring, 23 degrees Libra, then you may be able to expect some pleasant surprise or another, or some good fortune. But there's going to be a lot going on as well. So as I say, the sun is opposing Mars, where the sun and the moon both are considered to be quite weak. Mars is going to be the predominant energy. So we can expect to see a lot of the Martian archetypes. I mean, turn on the news. The Martian archetypes are all around us at the moment as it is. Now, Mercury, as you know, is retrograde, and this is why I'm also doing only the one big video today, because I've been having technical issues. I'm hoping the computer holds out for it. Is in Scorpio, retrograde. So it is also ruled by Mars. Mars is square in the Capricorn cluster, as are the sun and the moon, obviously. And interestingly, Mars is co-present in Aries with Lilith and Chiron. Lilith is closer, so the frustration that Lilith brings will be more prominent. However, I'm going to look at the angels associated with these degrees and the goetic spirits this time. And this adds a certain... Chiron is a lot further. Chiron's at like 6 degrees of Aries and is retrograde at the moment, so moving away from Mars. Although I suppose Mars is sort of catching it up into in its retrograde motion. Lilith is a lot closer to Mars, but the exact degree where Mars is ruled by a very interesting angel. Now I've got these bits dotted around all over the place here, so let me just bring the details up of that one. So 20 degrees Aries is ruled by Nelkael, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah, Nelkael. And what Nelkael brings astrologically, the sign is and you could have blown me over with a feather when I read this. Eradicate plague and an ardent desire to learn. Two things that we both could, that both would benefit the world right now. Nelkael is an angel belonging to the Order of Thrones, and one of the 72 angels bearing the mystical name of God, as in one of the Shem HaMephorash. Now, it does appear that he appears not to be a holy angel, but a fallen one, who, in hell, teaches astronomy, mathematics and geography to his fellow demons. Now, I thought all the members of the Shem HaMephorash were, how would you call it, unfallen angels? So to find one of the fallen angels among their number quite surprised me. I would have thought he would have been considered a member of the Goetia, but no, he's still there within the angels. But get this, eradicate plague and ardent desire to learn. And this coming through Mars at 20 degrees Aries, this ardent desire to learn and to eradicate plague, really being empowered by Mars retrograde. So the fact that Mars is retrograde doesn't make, it makes a difference, but you still have that energy being fueled into those ideas of the angel, of those ideas of eradicating plague and a desire to learn. Now, who actually rules 23 degrees Libra? Now, this is the angel Mitzrael, who astrologically is said to symbolize freedom and internal reparation. So again, we've got that healing symbol coming forward. Now, we've got the healing symbol as well, with Chiron being in Aries, because Chiron representing the wounded healer. But also remember that Chiron is a teacher. So Chiron was, and this is the aspect of Chiron I've been concentrating a lot more on recently in looking at the transits that are going on, because this would be really nice with all the craziness and the polarity that we've got going on at the moment, actually having that willingness to learn, ardent desire to learn, with someone who is able to provide those teachings, or at least those teachings being available, let's put it that way, is something that could create a lot more, I don't even want to say peace, I want to say change, I want to say evolution. I'm looking at the positive sides here. Squaring the Capricorn cluster is never going to be easy. Saturn is dignified, Mars might be dignified, but Saturn will win. So that indicates why Mars is retrograde. It's, I really want to, but there is some form of block. But that some form of block gives us the chance to review what we are trying to achieve and reassess it and hopefully get it right by the time that the obstacle is removed. I remember Achita Bhava was talking about an obstacle appearing in front of you as an effect of this new moon in Libra, but pointing out that this obstacle is not a detriment to you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you, which you can always say about all astrology anyway. But there is very much, if you are encountering an obstacle in what you are trying to achieve currently, as I am doing today with the computer keep crashing and having a lot of Mercury retrograde going on. But if you find that obstacle, it is there to teach you something. It is there to redirect you slightly. You may have to flow around it, or you may simply have to wait for it to pass. But the one thing that you don't really want to do to it is react, as in butting your head against it, trying to plow on through whatever, because the stars at the moment say if you try that, it's going to go wrong. So a change in methodology is being asked for at the moment. The other thing I wanted to look at, I think, was Nelchiel. Oh no, Nelchiel is 20 degrees Aries. But I also want to look at the angel for where Neptune is. Neptune in Pisces. Now remember, Neptune is a very slow moving planet, so Neptune is obviously powerful. But with the election coming up, Neptune in Pisces sort of shows the rise in this sort of thing, in all of the woo-woo. But it can also show a deep spirituality, but it could also show delusion. With everything else that's going on in the sky, it can hint at points of radicalization. Now, and of course, turning on the news, there's no radicalization going on in practically every country in the world at the moment at all, is there? Now, Umabel, again, has dominion over physics and astrology. Let's have a look what astrologically Umabel is about. Water, affinity and friendship. Now that's nice, that's useful. So that in and of itself shows that there is a space, especially with that teaching influence from Chiron, which is, I am hoping, call me naive, I am hoping that frustration that we feel from Lilith, co-present with Aries, that frustration we feel from Mars square Saturn, and more to the point, Mars retrograde square Saturn, are all frustrations that are making us go, my God, we've got to do this differently. And once you know you've got to do it differently, you start searching on how to do it differently, and that's where the teaching and the learning aspect all comes into play. Now, if the new moon is happening at night time, this is presided over by the goetic spirit Orse. Now, or Vozel. Now, he's one who appears like a leopard to start off with, but then will eventually appear to the magician in the shape of man. He gives true answers of divine and secret things, and also to change a man into any shape that the exorcist pleaseth, so that he is so let me get my teeth in, so that he that is so changed will not think anything other than he is in the variety of creature or thing that he is changed into. The other thing I think I noticed, which I saw from earlier, is that he can bring a man to madness or drive that insanity away. Now, we know that the madness is prevalent at the moment, but the idea of Orse driving the insanity away, so if you do your new moon rituals, yeah, light a candle for Nelchiel, sorry, and light a candle for Orse, and just say, crack on, do your work. Because there is healing, there is lessons to be learned, there is change and evolution that is promised, and there is sanity that is promised. Yes, one qualification: if you do a candle for Orse, make sure you ask for the drive insanity away part, And not just the creating sanity, but the whole idea of changing forms. We can be something different, and we can encourage that change and that growth in others. Now, let's have a look. I seem to remember the Sabian symbol was really interesting. Now, for the moon, a butterfly with a third wing on its left side, which makes it sound unbalanced. But again, butterflies tend to represent spirit. The left side tends to represent the past. But an unbalance towards the left side, i.e. the past, or to a point the left brain, the being too rational about it. Maybe we need to feel what the solution should feel like and then use the left brain to try and work out how to get there. Again, going on that same vibe of everything that I was saying about teaching and healing and learning. Now for the Aries, for the Mars, and this is so appropriate for what we're talking about and for the upcoming election. The symbol, the Sabian symbol, is a pugilist enters the ring. So the fight's not starting, but you are positioning yourself, or Mars is positioning itself, to be ready to act when the time is right. So there's again that sense of there's a sense of a call to action, or a call for a call to preparation, I think is a better way to call it. Now the Chandra symbol is pastel flags fluttering in the breeze. So it's talking about calling attention to yourself, making a show of things, demonstrating a path to follow, strongly urging that others move in the directions you are initiating, persuasive, insistent, reiterative, playful and twinkling on the outside, but entirely intent on the inside, pushing and pulling for optimal outcomes, eloquent, ideological. Under this degree, you tend to be fanatical or zealous, pressing outwards, far outwards. So that is an energy that needs to be tampered a little bit, but Mars square Saturn, it's going to be tampered. Identified with a style, a sensibility, a progressive evolutionary wave, you are sharply on the spot of pivotal changes, calling the collective attention to what comes next on the horizon. Greatly gifted with the talents of transmission, nothing else distracts you from the leitmotif of making the new attractive and sparking encouragement, empowerment and destiny momentum. What a great term, destiny momentum. With elan and utter dedication. Now that in and of itself, I mean, it speaks volumes about the election. So if you are involved in the American election, that applies to both sides. And I know what side I support, but out of politeness, good luck to all of you. But it also implies something for those that go, yeah, there's more important things in this election, believe it or not. Although I think the election is a symptom of a lot of the important things that are going on in the world. So it's, if you are wanting to start some form of environmental project, community project, new direction in your life where you want to take other people along as well, now's the time to set the plans. I seem to remember someone saying how this particular new moon is really important because it's one of those new moons that defines not just the next month or the next 2 weeks, but it's a defining new moon which is adding a flavour to the next 12 months. Now, I seem to remember that I've said that about one of the new moons or one of the full moons before already. And I suppose you could say that's true of every new moon. But this is one of the ones, and quite possibly the second one that I've talked of, where this is something you want to get right. And so if you have that, if you are having built into it that ardent desire for learning, then you should be setting it up right. Now, if it's happening in the day in your area, then it is ruled by the goetic spirit Marax, and that's as much information as I have on that. In fact, I'll take that back. I should have an entry for Marax in here. I don't know if he has another name off the top of my head, but Marax is one that I'm not that familiar with. Bear with me. No. All right, I haven't left it on the... Oh, Morax, that will be Marax. So, Morax's symbol is the bull, in which Christian iconography usually indicates the gospel author Luke. I didn't know that, because I would also see it as a symbol of Zeus. Obviously, it's the symbol of Taurus as well. And I seem to remember it's a symbol of some Sumerian deity as well. Now, yeah, Morax's sign is the mighty Taurus, and it so happens that Morax is a patron of astrology and all other forms of divination. Are we getting the theme that astrology is important at the minute? You know, but then again, you could say that the sky is being very self-promoting at the moment, because every angel and every degree and every symbol is all about, oh, look at the astrology. Well, yeah, that's why we're here. This is a lucky card, referring to the Morax card in the Fallen Angel Oracle deck. And it tells you to take notice of the others that surround it, because they will show you what you must do. There is a pattern to life that is often only clear later, but if you can grasp your opportunity when it presents itself, you can steer events into the course of your choice. Now, that obviously is talking about the card, which is not this card, that's just the back of the deck. Which just gave me a nice message as well. But this, you know what I was saying about the planning and the willingness to learn? This looks like a most ideal new moon to be open with a destination in mind. But be aware that there will be some form of obstacle, and that obstacle in and of itself is a gift. Okay, that's enough waffling about the new moon that I want to do, because we're, 21 minutes in. So I will bring the cards up in a moment for the main reading, and then afterwards, individual signs, time-stamped, 3 cards each, because otherwise we'll be here forever. Okay, let me bring the cards up. Now, bear in mind, as I shuffle, I invite you to ask a question, preferably one regarding to something that you want to begin, something that you want to start, something that's sort of vaguely new moon oriented. Ask a question, focus upon it. I mean, pause the video if you need to. Be aware of all the questions that are around you, because the cards will answer what they want. But yeah, ask a question. Now, it may be answered in the over reading, or it may be answered within the individual reading of each individual sign. But like I say, you're going to get 3 cards each for that. So let's bring the cards up and see what we've got. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the bottom of the deck, these 2 piles here. We start with the 10 of Cups. So that's the card that I always call the Better Than Wish Fulfillment card. Paired with the Queen of Pentacles. So it's giving us a hope for the future. Yay, some hope. Remember, 2020 will soon be over. Oh, that sounded a bit final, didn't it? But this really is offering us some hope. However, the whole reading is indicating that it's not quite going to be what we're expecting, but in a more positive, or at least in a more spirit-driven way. So I'll just point through the oracle cards. We have meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. So meditate and contemplate, think about things, listen to things. We have card number 34, spirit messages, observe limitations as well. So again, there is that image of listening, that image of receiving instruction. And I mean receiving instruction as in receiving lessons, as in the ardent desire to learn that I was talking about. You couldn't have actually picked better cards to agree with where I was going. So I'm still not convinced that my own subconscious does not, well, of course my own subconscious influences what cards appear, but I would hope that Spirit does that as well. So I have perfectly manifested this reading, or Spirit has helped these cards get laid to show me that I was right, which is such a egotistical sense. But I would like to say that it's given it confirmation I was on the right track. That's probably a little more, has a little more humility. Because humility is everything that this reading is about. As I say, spirit messages, observe limitations, meditate and contemplate. We have, from the Angel Arian, we have the Sephiroth of Hod, the left leg of the Tree of Life, which talks about submission. It talks about, I mean, I suppose one way you could sum that one up is let go and let God. It's allowing that submission to a higher will, submission to a higher purpose, plan. But at no point do I think, since there's this 10 of Cups here, and there's a number of other 10s, there was a number of other 10s, yeah, there are a number of other 10s, that show a completion and, for me, a self-determination. 10 collapses to a 1. This is something that you are taking on board. This is something that we are doing. This is something, you know, it's, Spirit can give us the ideas and the signposts and the, but we're the ones who have to want it. We're the ones who have to grab it. Because what Spirit is bringing in here, and let's see if I can get that camera a bit more in focus, is a burden. 10 of Wands with temperance. So that temperance saying that our process is being overlooked by angels, because I mean that's the whole temperance card, isn't it? There's that indication of having to seek and having to require balance, but this is temperance coming down from on high. So I could also interpret that as in balance will be restored. So there. So you either go with it or you don't. But they just feel that there is that balance will be what was the word I just used? But restored. That's it. I nearly said invoked for some reason. But we at the bottom, when that balance comes, it's on a personal level, it can end up coming quite quickly. We have 2 of Pentacles, again, a balance card for what we've got to work with. But also I'm reminded not just of, with the 2 of Pentacles, that the guy could be almost juggling with them, but I am reminded of a 2 of Pentacles out of one of my tarot decks. I forget which one. Whereas there's almost the 2 Pentacles are being controlled, manipulated, maneuvered by the energy coming from his hands, almost as a magical control. So this is something that we can really express our power on fast. But remember, any form of true magic is basically opening up to the universe and allowing that energy to pass through you and to manifest, being a vehicle for that energy. And you can see that in magical practices, you can see that in shamanic practices, you can see that in religious practices. It's all the same thing, you know. As I said, let go and let God. We have green corn moon from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, patience. So yeah, we know this isn't going to be a fast turnaround, because Mars square Saturn, limitations, as it says here, observe limitations. But we have this chance, as Nathael says here, rejuvenation, who comes along with overthrow of authority. Now, the rejuvenation is here more powerful than the overthrow of authority. So it's almost as I'm feeling like an element of not a distinct let's topple all the governments now and off with their heads, but more of that authority becoming less relevant as we are shaping society as according to our whims, as according to our will, or more to the point, as according to the divine will. Because 3 cards came out of my angel oracle, and the top one being the angel of glory. I sing praise and glory to the source of all life. Nothing else, you know, just a few hallelujahs. Or to put it in more new agey terms, the attitude of gratitude. Actually recognizing what a wonderful place this is. And also, let's not mess it up. But one thing I've been discussing with a few friends recently is the craziness that we've got on in this world at the moment. But what a great time to be alive. What a great time to live through all of this. Astrologers have been talking about 2020 for many years, because they could see that big things would be happening. And to talk on the new age and the starseed level and all of that, we chose to be here now. But even on my own philosophical level, yeah, I am the same. I chose to be here now. And I'm so pleased that I did. Even as crazy as this world is, crazy is better than boring. Crazy gives you more chance to learn and to grow. And hopefully the world is going through a big change at the moment. So there's going to be certain things that get called crazy that in a year or two's time, we're not going to think that that's crazy. We're going to think that what we were doing last year is crazy. Not that a number of us don't already think that. Right, so, and then finally, my old friend Renove, from the Fallen Angel deck, a Fallen Angel Oracle. Now, Renove is very much about peace. He was a demon that used to go around spreading peace and diplomacy wherever he went. That was it. There's no edge to it. Just obviously he could get in the way of certain kings' political agendas. You know, there's if someone wanted to start a war, Renove would be the person that goes, oh no, you can all talk about it instead. Now here it represents exhaustion. And I want to take that exhaustion because from the past, where we're coming from, there's 2 levels. I've got the Ace of Cups and the 9 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Wands, as you know, is the Wounded Warrior card. It's also the very nearly there. Very nearly to the point of taking up a burden, if you think about the story of the Wands suit. But with this Ace of Cups, well, certainly with it being signified by an hourglass, some dreams have finished their time. Some dreams have are coming to their time, because we have been pushing through the undergrowth to get to where we need to let things flower, let things grow. Now, what was I talking about earlier? That time of planning. Oh yes, because one more point I didn't cover. I asked what god was looking after this period, and from the Greek mythology deck I got Medusa, representing the feminine, representing the receptive, also representing, to me, self-examination. And my brain was just saying something about time, but I've forgotten what. Change. That's it. Change is what I'm getting from that. So where we are at the moment, wisdom is coming in. The Star and Ten of Pentacles. So we have got a very, very firm foundation with which to use the wisdom that we are receiving. And if you're looking at this on a mundane level, then yeah, there's plenty of good ideas out in the world that need using. If you're looking at it on a personal level, there is some wisdom that you have got a firm foundation to move on with. But what stands in your way? Fear. Fear of the, oh my God, what is going to happen? Wheel of Fortune here. But we also have I've got another Wheel of Fortune somewhere. Where is it? Oh yes, how you feel. There's almost as if in the feelings, we've got the Wheel of Fortune and transformation. We all know that there is a transformation going on. And what is it? Round and round the merry-go, round and round the roundabout goes, where she stops nobody knows. And there's that certain feeling of, where are we going to stop? Are we going to be able to protect what's necessary? But I feel that the options that are coming up are giving us the keys, because this is a new deck, Tarot 13, I think it's called. Yeah. And Pentacles are keys in this deck. So that whole sense of 4 being the foundation. 4 of Pentacles is that looking after what's yours. And there is that urge, because there is that fear. And that fear is coming from other people. But it's also a sense of, we have the key to build a firm foundation forward with the information that's coming in, because balance will be imposed. And we are asked to be tools of that balance. And that is something that everyone can recognize with forward motion, where we assign value to the suitable, correct things. 6 of Pentacles here, 3 of Wands. So there's that sense of ships coming in, but that's the first time I've noticed it was Wands, because it's the Prisma Tarot, and I obviously can't read. But I was thinking that was the 3 of Pentacles the entire time, because I wanted to talk about recognition occurring there. But if you look at this 3 of Wands, this is the card of your ships coming in after you've planned. And there it's almost like the lady there has planted a magic bean to grow a beanstalk, even if it's a beanstalk of flowers. But I mean, how beautiful would that be, a beanstalk of flowers? Allowing us to reach up to higher levels, exactly as we are being asked. Because the other angels, here's a good time to bring these in. We've got the guardian angel of creativity. Creative energy flows for me the more I choose to express my feelings. So yes, express yourself in a positive way. Express yourself in a way that works for you. And I'm reminded of the phrase, especially in today's political climate, and it's harm none. So if you can express yourself in a positive way, I feel this, not you are that, but I feel this. It should allow you to take advantage of that star download from speaker with this new moon, remember, because that's the star that's talking to us with this new moon. and get those creative juices flowing, because that's followed by the angel prince of the West. I create the reality around me with thoughts of pure love and goodness. Again, I create the reality around me, which is, there's a self-determination that's arising here, but out of balance and out of surrender to what you are well aware are good ideas. So let's have a look at these angels. We have fertility and fruitfulness with Michael, Asalia with contemplation again. So this is not an action time, this new moon. It is a listening time, a bit of a gratitude time, a planning time, and then finding that, when I was saying about how to express yourself, it's not just a matter of expressing that this is wrong. It would also be a matter of expressing, and this would be right. And those are the things that we are being directed to work towards. That is actually really beautiful, because there's the Three of Pentacles. That was it. I was seeing that 3-3 line right across the spread, and there is a hope or a fear of the recognition of the values that you are assigning and the things that you are giving away. Is, if it's the hope, it's a hope for reassigning value and being able to be in that giving position. If it's a fear, it's very much the worried that the values that you may be assigning to things are not being recognized. But to the future, we have the Lovers and the Nine of Pentacles, which is a little, I don't want to say ominous, a little dramatic. It's, you have the choice to stand alone, whatever that may mean. But remember the Nine of Pentacles, the person who's in that Nine of Pentacles card, they're happy, they're safe, they're secure, and they're listening to that divine guidance with a little bird on their finger. 9 offers that rebirth, and with it being Pentacles, that offers a rebirth of the material if you choose to take it. Now, you can take this on a personal level if you've asked your question, but bear in mind, in a moment, I'm going to do each sign, and these will be time-stamped at the bottom. But this is that choice to listen. So, in a way, I've gone wah with a load of New Age philosophy here. But, I mean, it's a general reading for everybody, so there's only so much detail I can go into. But there is that overwhelming sense of, now is not the time to act. Now is the time to listen and plan and be ready for action. Right, so I'm not going to do the shuffle videos for each 12 signs because that's just going to take forever. And I will be back in a second with the start of the individual signs. All right. Okay, Aries, you have drawn the Four of Swords, the Princess of Swords, and Judgment, crowned with the Six of Swords in the form of the X-Men's enemy Fitzroy from my trading card tarot that I made. So, you are definitely being called to rest. You are definitely being called to rest, to listen, because there is information coming through, sharp information coming through. I feel like maybe there's a decision that you are waiting for, that you are waiting to make, I think is a better way to put it, that element of discernment isn't quite clear. But one thing I am drawn to on this Princess of Swords card is it looks like her sword is starting to glow, starting to light up. You know, there's an element of there's an element of hold aloft your magic sword and utter the words, but it's more a sense of discovery. The look on her face is almost going, what's this doing? There's a superiority there, but there's also a puzzlement. So I think there's some news that is going to challenge you, but for the better. You know, once you integrate it and once you like understand it, it is going to lead to the transformation that the entire reading earlier was talking about when we're finishing with the Judgment card. It will be taking you to a better place and away from someone or something that is actually draining you. Yeah, I think that's everything for Aries. Okay, I'll move on to Taurus. Okay, Taurus, we have the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and Dark Phoenix as the Devil card, which I have clarified. Now, what I'm feeling here is that you are being called to balance some priorities in your life. There appears to be some competing priorities that I would cause you to question. So, like Aries, you are being called to sit back and rest and meditate and all the good stuff that we was talking about in the start of the reading, because there is something that is causing you stress and there is something that is causing you anxiety. And I feel that what it is a hunger that you have for something that is interfering with other commitments and interfering with other necessities. And it may well be that you are hungry for a specific commitment that has not yet been fully thought through, and you're wondering, do I go ahead with this or do I not go ahead with this? What if I do? What if I don't? That's causing you stress. But I would ask you to examine your appetites and examine what really is the truest expression of your life force, because that's what the Phoenix Force is all about. But here it's in the form of Dark Phoenix, it's a very predatory force, and as the Devil card, that is limiting you somewhat. There is a hunger either for a specific commitment to come around, and I would say if that's the case, there's plenty of time, because there's more things to know about this commitment, or there's more things to know about the commitments that you've already made, and you may find that you want to just step away from one of those commitments because they are causing you this undue stress and they are causing a hunger that really can't be sated. So you have to find a way to go, I don't need this hunger in my life. So whatever that is, there is a hunger that you are getting rid of, or that you are being called to examine. Now, if it's a hunger that you are quite happy with pursuing, then something else has to give. Because it may well be that the expression of your life is to live this specific, it could be a hunger for knowledge. It could be a hunger for, if it's a hunger for a specific relationship, then that's a bad move. That's just going to cause you stress. But if it's a hunger for a type of knowledge or a hunger to do something, for example, hunger's not always bad. If you look at the hunger of a sportsman, a sportsperson, I should say, well, they've got two types of hunger. One, their diet. Simple as that. Eat right to stay fit. But 2, there's the hunger to win, the hunger to be the best. That's not necessarily a bad thing when you are doing that within a sports arena. And you may be hungry to be the best within a specific arena. But there is too much to balance right now for you totally to express that. So what you are being called to look at with this new moon is there a hunger that is throwing you out of balance? Or is there a hunger that you are dedicated and committed to that may have more layers that you need to find out about, but other things are upsetting your pursuit of that, and that might be something that you need to look at, give up, surrender, what have you. But again, from all the oracle cards, the answers to that will come. You've just got to ask the right questions. Right. Gemini. Gemini, you have strength, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands, crowned by the Knight of Swords as the amalgam character Moonwing. Now, that's going to be an interesting one. But what I'm seeing is that there's some form of goal that you have been working towards, that you've really been dedicated towards, is going to come into fruition. And it's not that you will achieve, it's that you will be getting into a position to achieve. After you have fought so hard for something, you finally get that moment of, right, I'm here. I'm ready now. Again, we've got that sign of guidance with 9 of Pentacles, obviously the little bird on her hand, which represents the voice of the divine, transmuting you into the Queen of Wands. And that's when things start moving a lot faster. The Knight of Swords is one of the fastest cards in the deck. It's certainly the fastest of the knights. But there's that intellectual knowing all the details aspect and an element of discernment about which details you are finding important and which you aren't. Obviously, we have the influence of the moon there with Moonwing. But I'm feeling that the moon here is representing a sense of spirituality, because Moon Knight is the servant of the moon god Khonshu, and so there's that mysticism and spirituality aspect. But also, it's that you are in a position of the, how can I put it, the experienced and knowledgeable apprentice, or I don't want to say sidekick, but apprentice, because the other half of Moonwing from Moon Knight is Nightwing, i.e. Robin, Dick Grayson, Batman's sidekick. So there's that level of skill and agility that applies to both of them. And so to bring what you are wanting to bring into manifestation, you are going to have the ability. Things will move fast, but you have to be agile as to how you react to the various facts that are put in front of you. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, you have the Ace of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the 3 of Cups, crowned with the 9 of Pentacles in the form of Wonder Woman. So there is some form of dream, or I mean, cups could be a love thing. There's some form of dream where you are finding out the truth about, and you are being guided towards the truth. If you think of the little bird on the hand of the woman in the 9 of Pentacles, and of Wonder Woman's lariat or lasso of truth, Hestia's girdle, I think it was supposed to be. But anyway, the lasso of truth. There is a revelation or an understanding, there is an overwhelming love or dream that, I don't even want to say arrives, but that gets fleshed out. And this involves taking on some form of burden, but it's also, I'm getting both. It's also completing a burden. It's almost, it's that sense of things slotting into place in your mind or slotting into place in your life so that you go, there's that finished. Now I can start this. So there is a completion of one burden and the picking up of another one that feels, I don't know, that just a little bit more magical, that little bit more spiritual. I'm really drawn to the two unicorns in the middle of that 10 of Wands. So it's, with the Three of Cups, this is a cause for celebration. This is a cause to move forward with a dream. But it's also, I do feel that there is an element of combining what you are doing with others' efforts. So again, could be a relationship thing, two people coming together. Could be a teamwork thing and three people coming together. I won't touch the other implication of that, but I'm sure you saw that. But there is that wonderful sense of completeness coming, and I want to say by the full moon, because I am drawn to the full moon behind it, and also I'm drawn to the wolf in the full moon, even though the wolf represents cups in this particular deck, and the fact that it's the moon. I am drawn to the idea that I was reading one of the ritual magician blogs this morning, VK Jahanam, who has a channel here on YouTube. It's great. And he was saying how there is a lycanthrope aspect to Apollo. Apollo, of course, is a god of the sun and a god of truth, bringing us back to Wonder Woman's lasso. And that full interaction of sun and moon, I always, even though the new moon is sun conjunction moon, I always tend to think of the full interaction between the two as being sun opposition moon, the full moon, because that's when we get the most light. So by the full moon, when the sun is at its height in this lunar cycle, if that's the correct way of saying it, and it probably isn't, I think you will have some form of cause for celebration that makes you feel good. Whether it's something that you're starting, something that you are doing, something that you are doing with somebody else, or a relationship thing. It could be a relationship thing, but I don't tend to see that sort of stuff. But let me know. Comment down below. Anyway, Leo. Leo, you have the Devil, Justice, and Death. All major arcana cards crowned with the Seven of Pentacles in the form of Puck of Alpha Flight. Now, with it being the Devil card, I obviously clarified that with my Demons Possessed Tarot, and we have the Seven of Swords with Andromalius. Returns stolen items and punished thieves and reveals hidden treasures. Now, what I'm seeing with the Devil, Justice, Death, there is some form of limitation around you that is about to be removed or set right, and you can strategically put yourself in the right position for when this limitation is removed. It will create great change for you, but there's also, in the process of this limitation being set right, there is some form of surprise, some form of nice treasure or surprise being revealed to you. Now, this could be a piece of information where you just go, oh, I didn't know that. But it's the sort of information that makes you feel warm inside, that makes you go, yeah, I like this. This is good news. Because this Justice character here, I mean, she's got all the aspects of justice, but there's a slight Galadriel nature to her, I'm feeling. There's just a very, very slight sort of beautiful and imperious. You know, somebody who you do not argue with, but also why would you? Because they're lovely. That influence coming into your life and affecting great change for you. Now, it's also going to be giving you aspect to secrets within yourself, where I think to a point you're either going to get the chance to show what you're good at, or you're going to be surprised to find out that you're actually really good at something because you've been doing it for so long. And like I say, things click into place. Okay, Virgo. Virgo, the balance aspect rather than the sit back and rest aspect is what appears to be important for you here, because we start with Temperance, followed by the Seven of Wands and the Strength card, then finally the Three of Pentacles, crowned as Mother Ascani, who is, oh yeah, that's, you either know your X-Men or you don't. That's way too complicated to explain who she is. But let's just say that she's a very, very wise woman who lives far in the future, but is a member, as a youth, as the X-Men today. And let's leave it at that. So, you are pretty much protected at the moment as long as you are doing your best to achieve that balance, to make sure that all of your different responsibilities, which I'm getting from the Seven, are, none of them are louder than any of the others. Each just are taking up the space that they need and no more, allowing you, and there's a positive influence here helping this occur, because there is a time where you are about to come face to face with peers who are learned and who recognize you and your skills and your talents. They recognize you as an equal. Now, you are needing strength in this encounter, so it could be that you're coming with a new point of view, a new aspect, a new way of doing things, a new direction forward. That is what you are bringing to the table, and one would assume that there's a certain element of resistance to that, because there always is to new things. And so that Strength card is also telling me have the strength of your convictions. You know, it will be very easy to meet this group of peers and they say, we're going to do it this way, and your immediate reaction may be, okay then, rather than going, hang on a minute, I have a way to do it. I have a way to do it that's maybe a little more intricate, but brings out the best of those people involved, brings out the best of those around us, and also keeps an element of hope alive, I think is one way to put it. There's the aspect of being able to rise above base nature. I won't go into explaining where I get that from, again, way too complicated. But by being able to instill that hope from good facts, from the sense of, when you put your idea, your plan forward, these peers, although they may be a little resistant, they will each find a little something where you go, well, you're right on that aspect because blah, 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 blah. And that's something that you maybe didn't know, but it only goes to prove your point. So that, whatever you're involved with, Virgo, that looks good. Okay, Libra. Libra, you have the Page of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups, and crowned with the Eight of Wands with Quicksilver, son of Magneto, Avenger, part of the Inhuman royal family, only just. And I'll explain why I'm talking about that in a moment. So, Libra, you've come to some form of culmination. You've come to some form of, how can I put it? You have succeeded with one quest, and that has opened up another quest. You have leveled up in terms of information, in terms of things that have been revealed to you, in terms of understanding of what needs to be done further now. You have leveled up, but with this Page of Wands, especially as he's in the center of this, well, stained glass window, it's almost like all this information coming into him all at once, which is, there's some form of revelation that gives you a new quest, you know, whatever your quest might be. You know, there's I am thinking that your quest will be something more significant than just let's clean the house from top to bottom, but there is that moment of well, then that means I need to do this, this, and this. And that is something that you plan with. But there is a warning here, because once you start putting those plans into action, things will move fast. You have to have an element of humility. Because what is really interesting is I was talking about the Two of Cups with a friend of mine last night. And we was talking about how sometimes with the Two of Cups, you can have these two characters, or in any Two of Cups, when they're offering each other their cup of hopes, dreams, loves, whatever, that there can sometimes be a real sense of humility, not even a sense of shyness, but it's just not a take my cup, but it's here you are, if you'd like it. This is what I have. And that will be met with an equal, well, this is what I have. If you're going in trying to be as fast as you possibly can and get it over and done with, and having a certain ignorance of other people's feelings, which you're Libra, it's hard for you to have a complete ignorance of other people's feelings and needs and desires and what have you. But for that, it's there has to be an element of humility, even though you have a steely, hard determination to create these plans and put these plans into action. But one thing I would say is, whatever these plans that you need to put into action are, that sense of humility is an essential ingredient to it. So, Scorpio, we have the Knight of Wands, the Empress, and the Seven of Wands, crowned with the Ten of Wands, with Galactus and the Fantastic Four. So I will delve into that one, because that one has a lot to add to this. And I want to remind you that we are talking about nurturing some dream into existence that is better than wish fulfillment. Now, you're already surging ahead on something. And whatever it is that you are surging ahead on, there's an element of mystery with it, and there is an element of I have to do this, you know, sort of magical quest type stuff. But you are going to be quite surprised on how well your efforts, and efforts past tense, how well your efforts gain a harvest, come to fruition. How much response you get from whatever it was, because you didn't know. You were surging ahead going, is this going to work out? Am I going to find what I want? Am I going to achieve what I want? Find is a really important word there. I do get the sense of find, because it's almost like you have had support, but the support hasn't been it has been help for you to carry on, but it hasn't been help for you to achieve your objective. That has been on you. It's been up to you to find. It's been up for you to decide to keep surging forward, but every step of the way, spirit or possibly people in the physical world have been going, yeah, we're with you, we can do this. And then things start coming around, and you are being then called to defend what you have gained and what you have learnt. And I want to say learnt as much as gained. Even though this Empress card, she's looking very mother of dragons with a baby dragon on her lap. She reminds me of that character that was the one who was married to Joffrey. Cannot remember her name for the life of me, but so there's someone who has good intent, but is also very politically skilled at the same time. And so you are called to defend something in the face of your peers, but it's almost like you are lucky that you get to be heard by the right people. That's the point, because this particular trading card, as the Ten of Wands, in terms of trading cards, it's a what if story about when the Fantastic Four saved Galactus's life and the inhabitants of everywhere thought they shouldn't have done. But you have managed to preserve some essential ingredient, and you will be able to display to people or show to people, this is why I've done it, and this is why it was the right thing to do. So you are having some form of, or to put it banally, intellectual point scoring. There is an element of, I was right and I told you so, but it's more the sense of, do you not understand how necessary it was? And others responding to you, okay, yeah, we actually see what you mean. Because in Marvel's cosmology, Galactus is an essential part of the universe, and the universe would polarize and disintegrate without his presence. He is that random element. He is something that is distasteful but necessary. And that's what the burden is, that you have been taken up and others are seeing why you have done it. And although there may have been some political machinations, I don't want to say not deliberately, of course there was deliberate, but coming from a point of incomprehension that have been in your way, or have not actually been that much in your way. It's more that now that you have completed what you're doing, people say, well, why on earth have you done that? That doesn't seem right because of blah, 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 blah. And you have the ability just to turn around and go, yeah, but it is right because 1, 2, and 3. And the reaction that you will be getting is, oh yeah, I see what you mean. So good luck with that, Virgo, because as I remember, this is something that you are as I would ask you to remember even, this is something that you are nurturing to bring in a state of better than wish fulfillment. Okay, Sagittarius. I just said Virgo, didn't I? I meant Scorpio. I'm so sorry. I meant Scorpio. Bye. It's a fairly simple message for you, Sagittarius. We have the Six of Wands, the Prince of Swords, and the Ten of Wands, but I have included the bottom of the deck here, the Sun card, which really links with this whole Ten of Cups, Queen of Pentacles vibe. There is something where you have achieved victory, or that you are achieving some form of victory in under the light of this under this new moon. And this achievement, this revelation, this getting to the level where you are and getting people in harmony with you, on your team, on your side, whatever it is, I want to say you've won the first battle and you realise there's a war. That's because the Prince of Swords, I said the word revelation then because it creeped in, because that indicates that because you have this victory, because you become successful on something, some information comes to you that makes you go, oh, there's more to do. There's more to set right, crowned with the Justice card here. But this is a positive thing. I mean, this Ten of Wands guy is struggling with all of his wands to get up to the tower, which is maybe not always the best image when we're talking about tarot. But it is a really good image, because I'm feeling that your burden is you're taking your victory and the knowledge that you have learnt through that victory up to somewhere where it can be seen on high. Now, on high may mean by spirit, but it also may mean by elders. It also may mean by the public or by the government, or if it's a work thing, by the CEO, you know, and the board, whoever that, or the equivalent of those were with the sun, those kingly, fatherly roles that exist within society. And yes, I am including the public with that, and to a certain extent, there would be an element of the media noticing what you're doing, maybe. Or it's that your grandparents who run the family notice what's doing, or the boss of the business notice what you're doing. And to me, that feels like there are things, because of the 10, you are at once going to war and completing everything that you need to do within that war. And war is probably a strong word. But it's with that Six of Wands and the Sun to start off with, it's like you embark on a course of action to effect the change, and because you embarked on the course of action, the change is effected. But what you need to do is cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure the correct supplies are in the right place, the correct regulations are in the right place, the correct guidance is out there for people to know what they're doing, that if you're going to move somebody into a spare room, that it's carpeted and got a bed in it, all those sort of things that let's use this moving someone into your spare room argument. So you come to a victory where maybe you're going, look, we need a lodger. And then some information comes to you that goes, now we really need a lodger, and they need to be this person. And the Ten of Wands is the point where you've already had it agreed that you are getting this lodger. But it's getting the carpets, getting the bed, getting the curtains up, making the room ready for a lodger to come in. That's just one example. So like I said, winning a battle to find out you're fighting a war is maybe a strong analogy, but it's almost like you win something and then the scope in which you're operating just gets so much bigger and recognised by those in power as you take your preparations up to on high where they are recognised. And I cannot escape the influence of that Justice card to say that all of this is fair, or all of this is righting a wrong, or yes, setting something right, setting the scales in balance. There we go, there's that balance thing again. But yes, that's a really plain message. you're winning your battle. It opens up to a war to you, or the scope increases. And then you're going to win that by your first effort, you know, by the very fact that you try. But there's a lot of work to do in that, a lot of details to be considered, and to make sure that you don't just want to win the war in word, you want to win the war in action, so that whatever you were warring against doesn't have an opportunity to rise up and recoalesce into existence again. Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn, you have the Chariot, the Star, and the Queen of Pentacles, crowned with the Two of Swords, Knave of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So slow progress. However, things are moving. Things are definitely moving. What I'm really getting from this Chariot is the sense of a destination coming into sight. Let's see if I can focus the camera at the same time. Yeah, a destination coming into sight. So there is that urge of course, of the two competing drives that are sending you to a third destination. Because what I'm thinking of that is Two of Swords can be something that you're ignoring, but it can also be a balance thing. But what I'm picking up is that whole sense of two competing ideals. I mean, this is represented in my trading card tarot by Darkseid versus Thanos, or as another way you can put it, total and absolute unforgiving order versus nihilism, nihilism, however you say it. But there is a new destination that is revealed to you as a result of these two competing forces, where some information, there will be some symbol here for you to follow. With the Star, yes, you need your wits around you to know what's going on around you. Bear in mind, you've got that whole cluster still in your sign. You know, things other than Pluto, everything will be moving out early next year. But follow the synchronicity, the symbol, the sign, the thing that makes you go, oh wow, that's beautiful, or oh wow, that's magical, or oh wow, holy, you know, that was not what I expected. Something that really has a positive or awestruck reaction to it. When you find that sort of reaction, that's what you're supposed to follow. That is how you will best nurture. But with the Queen of Pentacles, Knave to the Queen, showing that things will speed up, but also things will speed up in their, or things will become greater in their efficacy, in their ability to, I want to say, hold your weight. Although I may feel, I rather feel that hold your weight is more of a ethical, moral, data-based. You know, I do feel, because of this Star card, it's far more air-oriented than what you'd necessarily think from a load of Pentacles. But it's far more about a position than it is about a material thing. But you are nurtured and will be nurturing and will be able to nurture. This, whatever makes you go, oh my Lord, you know, sort of almost a where did that come from? Whatever that reaction, whatever gives that reaction, follow it, because it enables you to be nurtured and to nurture. Because I almost feel this Chariot card that you're being driven along. You know, you've got these two competing priorities, two competing requirements that are pulling you along in a direction where you, hang on a minute, I don't know where I'm going. But this Star card enables you to take control of that. And you're not necessarily fighting against the two forces that are pulling you along. But what you are doing is seeing, for if one's pulling that way and one's pulling that way, so you are going that way, and you are actually, you see a destination where you go, yeah, do you know, I actually do want to end up there, so this is not such a bad thing. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, if I have any Aquarius viewers remaining after some of the readings that you got out of me over the past few months. But I do want to say is this is another positive sign we've got going. And trust me when I say this, because we start at a not so positive place. We have 5 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, 5 of Swords as your first card, then the 8 of Swords and the Emperor, crowned with the Ace of Swords out of my trading card tarot, which is Hawkman in this tarot. So, yeah, 2 5s, not a great start, is it? But this is not any news for you. But what I'm actually feeling is that this is something that is finished. You know, there's a loss. Yeah, there's been a victory where someone's walked away, but you have been able to pick up the spoils of war. And yeah, someone's walked away. Hey ho, I don't think anyone who... Right, if there's someone walked away that you didn't want them to walk away, I do feel they will be back. It's not being shown here, but that's what I feel about these two people walking away. If they are friends, they will be back. But now things are going to start picking up for you and changing rapidly. And also, as the information comes through, it's hard to grab it, to keep track of it. But there is a sense of, as all the information hits, you don't have to know the inside and out of everything to go, okay, right, I know where to go now. And you come into your power, you come into your authority, you have clarity of the situation. And certain things, the fact where you have a fact but you don't know the why of a fact, it's not that important, not right now. I also feel that there is somebody in authority who is going to look in favour on you. But more to the point is you coming into your own authority, to be quite honest. And like I say, this Ace of Swords gives a wonderful sense of clarity. So as for any arguments, argy-bargy, for the time being, Aquarius, it's over. You're getting a break. Now you reap the... I don't want to say rewards or results. That sounds awful. Reaping is probably the wrong word. But there's so much information coming to you. Some of it is going to be a little bit left field. But it paints a complete picture. Even if you can't see all of the background and don't know all of the whys, it paints a complete picture for you that enables you to go, right, I am now taking charge. And like I say, separately, there is somebody in some form of authority that is going to be smiling upon you, whatever that may mean. So if you're waiting for somebody to make a decision regarding an application, for example, I think you are going to be pleasantly surprised by the result of that. Okay, last but not least, don't you get sick of hearing that, but last but not least, Pisces. Okay, Pisces, now I wish I could tell you that this was complete, but this shows an ongoing issue that is not going to achieve resolution. We have the Emperor, the 7 of Swords, the 9 of Wands, and the Temperance Angel, because 2 cards wanted to come out when I was shuffling, with the 7 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, clarified or crowned, I like to say here, by the 5 of Cups and Magneto. Now that, at first glance, seems pretty dire, but that's not how I'm seeing it. there's some decision. You have taken some authority in your own life. You have gone, right, I am making a decision. I am doing this. Whatever your this is. So whatever change you have already decided upon and quite possibly acted on, that's in place. And it's almost like you are having to be strategic right now to gain clarity to get yourself to a better place. Because with this Seven of Swords, I'm really seeing a 6 and a 1. But also with that Seven of Cups, there's loads of ways for you to do it. There's loads of ways that you can progress forward. So you need, that's it. You need to have the clarity of where you want to go in order to place in the right strategy, because you do not want to tire yourself out, because the whole point of why you set yourself on this path, and that's my, oh look, magic hands, is the whole reason that you set yourself on this path. That hand looks a really bad colour, doesn't it? Yes, let me just hide my zombie hand. The whole reason that you set yourself on this path was to create a rebirth, possibly a rebirth from some wound. This is the Wounded Warrior card, but I'm thinking more about a rebirth of action, because fire, wands. And the whole point is, during this process, you are being protected. So angel number 77, whatever that is, I cannot remember, look it up. But you are being shown plenty of options of how to proceed forward. You almost, there's an element that you need to dive into your own secrets. I've got a sneaking suspicion, especially with this Five of Cups and Magneto here, that there's some things where you're going to have to let them go. And there may be things that you've kept secret. So between you and me, letting them go doesn't harm anything. It's not like they get revealed. It's just like, no, I'm not going to let that mean anything to me anymore. I'm not going to let that take over anymore. I'm not going to let that be one of my wounded motivations anymore. What was I saying in the introduction about the role of Chiron being co-present with Mars here? And the whole, oh no, what was it? I can't remember how, but a hunger to learn, whatever the phrase was. But you are protected in this process. You are being shown lots of options. You are being shown the ways that you can move forward. And although it is not needed, there is a form of redemption coming for you. The larger the action you take. So you have to crystallize that vision of the better place that you want to go to. And the larger action you take to get to that better place, the more positive, larger action that you take, I should say, you will be looked after. You will actually get there. And the reason I'm getting that is less the Five of Cups thing. But remember, with the Five of Cups, you have those 2 cups remaining. But also, Magneto's not a bad guy nowadays. You know, he was, but he was reacting from a point of feeling wounded. And to be honest, if you look at in the comics Magneto's motivations, you can't really disagree with him. But nevertheless, he went over the top. So I'm not saying you should go over the top, but I am saying that you should think about big actions once you let go of some of these inner secrets. Now, that may involve revealing them to somebody, or it may just simply involve, yeah, I'm not going to let that bother me anymore. You know, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm working through it. I've worked through it. It's almost look at this wound from the past and basically going, you are dead to me. You know, there's because let it go. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Now, you are protected during this. You need to be acting with that element of balance. So there's a tall order for you. Larger actions, but balanced larger actions. Not easy. Okay, so if you've come through this far, then you're aware to watch your sun, your moon, your rising. You know, the timestamps are all below. I'm hoping to get on with some of my Chinese zodiac tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Let's just say that Mercury retrograde has had a big effect. If any of the readings meant anything to you, if you're even still listening to me at this point of the video, then comment down below, and yeah, obviously like, share, subscribe, and see you soon. Enjoy the new moon. It's going to be a tough one, but it has a lot of promise. Cheers.